see how my technical skills go. Welcome everyone, and I'm going to share my screen for the presentation up. Can you see my diary? No, not yet.
That's looking better.
Does that look like a slide called Member Connect?
Yes, it does. Yep.
Yay! Okay, well that's a great start. I'm happy now. All right, so thank you. And I'm going to do, I've made some notes today, so that we know what we're all doing. So, just some background, I guess, to where Member Connect came from. So it was a program that we, as a committee, thought that we wanted to launch and did launch early last year, and we thought it was a good way to welcome new members to SBA. So for some people, it can be really quite daunting starting a membership with an organisation, and they know that they want to join something and feel that that's good for their business, but they don't really know. They're a bit of a loss to know how to do that and where to start. And then the other sort of thing that's come out more recently is that even though they have access to a whole heap of emails and a whole sort of welcome sequence that they receive, quite often that gets lost in their inbox. So that's a problem then, because then they're not engaging, and then like we've missed that moment. And obviously we want to retain everybody as a member. And if they're not feeling that they're being brought along, then that can set some challenges up. So this mentor group started as we just kept it within the committee to start with, while we were as a bit of a pilot group, and then over time that's obviously expanded to other members who we feel would be a valuable part of that team. So thank you for all of you for stepping up and being a part of this. I understand that it is obviously as a volunteer role. We're very appreciative of this time that you are willing to commit to this. But as the membership is expanding, and at the moment with the subsidy it's rapidly expanding, I think it's important that we have a sufficiently large mentor group, so that it's the that load is shared amongst all of us. So there's about 15 of you now in this group, which is awesome. So it just means that you don't all need to feel what am I trying to say? You don't all need to feel completely overwhelmed and stuff in terms of the requirements. Obviously, some weeks you'll be able to help out more than others, and that's completely fine, and we completely understand that. So I have to say, this is feeling very odd. I feel like I'm just talking to a screen of nobody. Okay, so a bit of background.
Do you want us to interject every now and again?
Yeah, can just like sort of tell me that you're still there.
Yeah, right. Hoi, I'm still here.
Excellent. So the purpose for Member Connect, and I think this has actually shifted a little bit over time. So as I was saying earlier, that when we first started this program, the initial thought was that it was a good way for a new member and an existing member to be able to connect. It provides that link, and that the mentor would be able to introduce the new member to other people who they want to meet. And that still is absolutely valid and really important. But we've also, our sort of recent feedback is that members are not, like the notion of membership with SBA and everything that's included in that is actually quite complex. And so for a new member to be across all of that is a little bit of a challenge. And so these Member Connect sessions, it's a really good way for you as the mentor to remind the new member all the different things that they can do, and to guide them where they can find information from, because it's getting missed. And when we go through the checklist, this will make more sense. So that And more recently, I've been doing some of the Connect sessions. So I usually connect with the tenants at the centre who become members. So I've also experienced this too, and I can see that the benefit of having those conversations about emails, and they're missing things, because everyone's busy. And so this is a really good sort of stopgap in terms of being able to guide them through what's going on. And obviously you're a point of contact for the new member as well. So if they are stuck, then they can reach out to you and ask the question. And also they can be in the office too, but again, it's that connection amongst members, which I think is important that we do that. And also we want to inspire our new members to come along to events, because we know that if they're coming along to events, then they're engaged and then they feel included and they feel part of it. So, that's important that we do that. Any questions so far?
No.
Please tell me that you're still there.
Still here.
Excellent. All right.
Yeah, we're too scared to say anything because we know we're being recorded.
Oh dear, please don't be scared to say anything. All right, so this is how it works. There's a lot of words. We're going to just go quickly through this. So Amy, typically on a Tuesday, emails the whole mentor group with those new members who have joined in the previous week. And obviously with the subsidy, that's actually quite busy at the moment. So usually every week a new email is coming out with the list of those new members in it. And then you are free to choose if you've got any capacity over the coming week to be able to connect with those members, or if they're particularly in a sector that is obviously of value and interest to you, then you email Amy back saying who you want to connect with, and then she will send an email, the same email to both of you with both your contact details in it, so that you can then reach out to the member. And it's probably, even though they've got your details, I guess it's probably quite usual that you would take the first step to invite to start that conversation. Ideally then you can connect with them over the next week and arrange to catch up, or it might just even be a phone call. I mean, it's great if we can meet them for coffee, but I understand that that's not always achievable, and a conversation is fine. It's entirely what you feel happy with, and also what capacity you've got to do that as well. And then there's a checklist, which I'll go through in a moment. If you do catch up for a coffee, then ask them if they're happy to take a photo and send that through to Andrea, and then we can put that on social media as well. So again, it shows what we're doing internally with the external world, and you both get that bit of promotion out of it as well. And if there's anything that you think is useful as part of that conversation, that you think that as an office we need to know about, then please email Andrea that information. So, if they're sort of saying, I'd really love to be to host a member sundowner, and I'm really keen to do that, then let us know that information so that we know that we can follow up with them. So we're closing that loop of information. Okay, so I'm going to change my screen. Hopefully this works. Can you see the checklist?
Yep.
Yay! All right, so this is the checklist. So this is where this has proved to be really useful. So I had two Member Connect meetings yesterday, and I used this for both of them, and it was really good for me to make sure that I'd actually gone through everything that was important. But it was incredibly useful so both of the new members, they definitely had missed some of that information that was coming through by email. So just to sort of fill you in terms of what happens from an office perspective when a new member joins, they go into the system, and then that triggers a particular sequence of emails that they receive over so many days. But they're definitely, and then they get sent their member graphic that they can put onto their email, but that's definitely getting missed. They're missing maybe the link to join the Facebook group. So this sort of process is definitely working in terms of, they're starting to realise then, oh yeah, okay, that actually sounds really good. And they're making sure that they're really understanding all the different benefits and inclusions that they're getting for their membership. So we can just work our way through this. So please do invite them to the next member sundowner. And this is really up to you to find out when that is, so that you have got this information that, you know, that you are that sort of font of knowledge. So, and obviously that's changing all the time. So I do encourage you to look at our website and make sure that you're across all the different things that are going on, so that you're able to guide the new member, you know, for the different events, and encourage them to get involved and to come along. And especially that first sundowner, because that's the one where they get their new member certificate presented to them. Because we find if they don't come to the first one and it rolls over, it can then become quite a long time, or then they sort of, it kind of wanes off, that then they don't come at all. So we really want to get them in and attending things. Ensure that they've got the information about how to join the members Facebook group, SBA Member Zone, and the links are again in that sequence of emails. If they haven't got it, then that's something that you could contact us and say, can you please send them the link, so that they can join the group. Encourage them to follow us on all the social media platforms. You know that with our new website, we're obviously capturing more information now for the members directory, and that's going to be an ongoing thing. Obviously, as new members join, we'll need to be adding them into the directory. So again, encourage them to complete that form so that they're getting, obviously we want their details to be on our members directory, and they want to be able to be found. And that new members directory is fully sort of interactive, and you can search for, if you're looking for a bookkeeper or a lawyer or a finance broker, then they can actually search on the various sectors, and then the whole sort of list comes up of who of our members are in those groups. So it's in their interest to do that. So please encourage them to do that. Talked about their graphic. So again, ask them to go and have a look so they can get their graphic, and they can use that on their email footer and on their website. So again, it's acknowledging and that people can see that they're part of our community. And that's another way that we can hopefully grow the membership as well, because people get to see that we're all involved. Encourage them to keep up to date with all our events. So we know that events are, you know, they're always changing, and we've got new events going on all the time. And I know that we send out a lot of emails about events, but people obviously get busy and you know, can miss things. One of the new things that we're going to do from the new year is that at the end of every month, we're going to be sending out this isn't the scoop, it's separate to the scoop, but it will be a separate email that summarises all the events that are going on for the following month. So I think that will be one good way to, if they only need to read one email a month, say that that's the email that they need to be looking at. So I think that will help, but also let them know that they can find out what events are going on in a way that suits them. So it could be by email, it could be by just looking at events on our website, or it could be looking at Facebook to see what events are coming up. So it's empowering them to find out how to find out what's going on. You can also talk about Stirling Business Centre, and that every member gets 30% off from room bookings at the centre. And of course, you're also welcome that if you do want to catch up for a coffee, then obviously you're welcome to come into the centre and do that and sit in the cafe, and that's a good way to show them SBA office and what goes on at the centre, so they can see the sort of extension of the resources that are available. And then specifically for silver and gold members, that they have access to their complimentary tickets for the events, and they get sent a coupon code, so that they can purchase those tickets with the coupon code. So they still need to register for those events. And our silver and gold members, they get a quarterly social media shout out as well, but that can be updated every quarter. So let them know that they can obviously change that message so that it is more relevant to that time. And that, I think, is pretty much it. I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I really can't bear looking at nobody. I'm going to stop the screen share. There we go. There you all are. That's better. Do you have any questions? I felt like I really rattled through that.
I got one.
Great.
How does the system work? So someone pops up as a new member and they look highly attractive and 4 of us decide that we think we're going to help them. How does that whole process work?
Oh, it depends on how much you pay Amy. No, it's a first come, first served basis.
Right. Okay.
I don't know that we have that too often. I mean, sometimes it happens, and some members are quite quick at responding, and depending on what they've got going on. But Amy will always then get back to you if you haven't been successful, if you like, with that match. It's a bit like swipe left and swipe right, really. Then she'll let you know. So yeah, it's first in, best dressed.
Okay.
Anyone?
So are you going to email the checklist out to us?
Yes, I will definitely. So what I'll do is I'll email the slides, I'll email the checklist so that you've always got that, because you'll need to print that off. There's also the promotional cards that we have for SBA.
Oh, yeah.
That we have at the centre. So maybe when you're next in at the centre, or when I next see you, I can give everyone those cards, because that's always a good way to, good things to hand out as well as the Momentum and Stirling Business Centre leaflets. If you need anything like that, then let me know. It's always a good thing to sort of hand over, isn't it, as you start talking. I mean, obviously you can talk about what you do and your business, but in the context of that, it is about them, and you are representing SBA in this instance. So I guess that's another point to make.
So Yvonne, if I can ask, I noticed that with my previous experience where I've met with 2 of the new members, one of them was unable to make the first event.
Yep.
Is there any trigger mechanisms that we can have to make sure that there's a follow-up to say that they did or didn't actually turn up? Is that something that your office generally handles, from making sure that they do attend one, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And that happens, and certainly Sarah's had that experience as well, where she's made an appointment and unfortunately then it's been cancelled or whatever. So it's entirely up to you about how assertive, I guess, you want to be, and also how much time you've got. So if you want to try and follow up and rearrange it and stuff, that's great. But if for whatever reason then it doesn't happen and you don't get a chance to have that conversation, so the next step of the process is that at about 6 to 8 weeks, I get a task that's automatically generated. So we call that the CEO call. So again, it's another connection with the new member. So by that point, they've had all the emails, the whole email sequence. They've hopefully met with you. Perhaps they've attended an event in that time. But if all of that they've literally followed through all of those cracks, then that particular call then is another way for me to check in and sort of go through this as a follow-up to make sure that they're across all the different bits and pieces of membership and what they can access.
Perfect. Yep.
So we're really trying to sort of close it in.
Yeah, perfect.
This is slightly off topic, but will we have the ability at some point to be able to edit our member directory entry ourselves?
I guess you could use the same link that you've already got, and if you obviously, because I guess things will change, that if you want to update it, then you would just redo the link and send it in, but maybe just put a note updating existing entry, for example.
Okay.
Is that all right? Would that work?
Can we get that link resent to us?
Pardon? Get the link resent to you?
Yeah.
I was going to say something on that.
Yeah. Put me down for that as well, please.
Okay. All right. I know what I was going to say. One of the things the functionality that we were hoping to try and get for the website was that you'd be able to log in and update it yourself. And there's pros and cons for doing that as well. So anyway, but yes, we can send the link out, and then because I guess that's going to happen, isn't it? Things are going to change anyway. So yeah, I can send. Anyone else want the link again as well? No. Mairead?
Good.
I'll check mine.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Gosh, there's some exciting people here that need to update their links. Wow.
I know. Well, yeah, they're dynamic. Like I say, they're dynamic businesses.
Good. We like that.
And hopefully the website will be out soonish.
Perfect.
So that's really good. Any other questions about? Have I covered enough? Is there obviously for people who aren't on the call, they're not. If they're not on the call, do you think that we've covered enough information that you're all raring to go and know exactly what we need to do?
The only other thing which I normally go through is some of the marketing opportunities. So, for instance, Mad Wednesday, where members can go and put their offers on Facebook and things like that, and get involved and make sure that you're communicating through a lot of those Facebook and social media conversations. And that's the best way to kind of continue to network. So by the time you actually do go to one of those members events, you have touched base with at least 2 or 3 members, and it's about just making new friends.
Yeah. And I know that you'll all bring your own insights and your own experiences to that conversation, so that it's obviously meaningful for both of you. So yeah, great comments, Nathan. And that's what I found yesterday when I met with a couple of members yesterday. So brilliant. Well, thank you all. I'll stop the recording, and we did complete before 10 o'clock. I'll stop the recording now.